of weird when we were doing that because Kevin Korn was my love interest. And at the time, Kevin Korn was like 12. And I was in my 20s. And I mean, it's angelic layer. It's PG all the way, maybe G. But, yeah, there was a couple of moments where I'm like, I feel dirty. There's a show recently that we worked on with Aaron Dismuke, who's now a grown man. I met him when he was 10. So he's now a grown man, and there was a couple of questionable scenes that I've had with him over the last year, and I just feel dirty. He's like my son, or my little brother, or somebody I should not be saying this to. But that's the whole acting thing. You just have to kind of put it out of your head. It's not Kevin Korn. It's not a 12-year-old. It's not. But I love that show.
How many times are you allowed to improvise while sound recording this, like totally improvise this?
Never. Well, Ghost Stories is the one.
Yes.
And that's a one-in-a-lifetime experience. Because basically, like, every once in a while you can say, hey, I have a really great idea for this line, if you think you can punch up the line that you're working on or whatever. But the director always has the yes or no on that one. Usually it's, read what's on the page, Monica. Okay. So Ghost Stories was a show that ADV acquired that did not do very well in Japan. In fact, it had sold so poorly that they were taking it off the shelves. So the Japanese company contacted ADV and they were like, we don't care what you do. We just need to recoup some of the money we lost on the show. Have fun. And so Stephen Foster at ADV was like, are you sure? They're like, yeah. Just as long as, because basically there's a tie-in with the company. So, like, anything that's sold here, the Japanese creators get money back there, and they just wanted to break even. They're like, look, we don't even want to make bank on this show. We just want to break even. So, Ghost Stories, we kept the names of the characters. That's about it. Yeah. And so my character was, I don't know, the room's slowly getting dimmer. Hi, everybody.
It was happening during the Ghost Story panel before this show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Ghost Story show then. That's what I said. If it was actually a spooky show, I'd believe it, but it's not. The spookiest thing is the things we say. But yeah, it was the first time that we had creative license, and there was no script written for the show. We wrote it as we went along. We improvised the whole thing. So you wanted to be the first person in. Because if you were the first person in, that meant you were the guy with all the jokes, and everybody else had to be the straight man. Because you've always got the and then everybody else has to just go, okay. So it was kind of a fight to see who could get in first. Because then they set the scene, and then everybody else had to match that. And then it was a fight to see, it really was the best thing you could do with a bunch of actors who were just trying to outdo one another. I'm going to be better than Hillary. I'm going to be better than Chris. I'm going to be better than Greg. Like, what can I do that's funny? And it was a great experience. It was crazy. Because somehow, even though we improvised everything, it kind of created a story. Like, it kind of followed a plot. A completely fracked up plot. But it did kind of follow a plot. But it was one of those shows that we just had so much creative license. I've never had somebody go, hey, as long as it fits the flaps and it makes people laugh, go for it. Really? So we had, like, my character in the original was a psychic. In our show, Monica was a very devout, born-again Christian. And since you had the Christian, you had to have the little Jew boy. So you had to fight. And now basically I should say that this show's whole purpose was to just make everybody angry. We wanted to be equal opportunity offenders. So we went for everyone, even Christians later. Didn't matter. So, yeah, and then we had the little, I guess the main girl kind of stayed the same. She was kind of spunky and Hillary-ish. And then Chris Patton's character was just kind of the scrappy best friend, but we turned him into, like, the womanizing. How you do it? And then the poor little brother. He had these flaps, okay, like the mouth flaps and stuff. And so we always make fun of flaps because they're kind of ridiculous, but this kid's flaps were like, so he was slow, And then there was the cat. So there was a talking cat that was Rob Mungle. And you guys, Rob Mungle is a comedian, and he is hilarious and incredibly blue. So it was fun to have his voice coming out of this little bitty cat, and him saying these horrible, horrible things. But yeah, it's probably the closest I've ever been to a Bible. I'm not incredibly religious, but I spent a lot of time going, okay, there's got to be something in here. Okay, come on. It was a great experience. It was a lot of fun. And I will probably never get to do that again. We joke because evidently Sentai now still has the license to it.
Good.
So Stephen Foster's joking. He's like, well, we could always do ghost stories too. It'll be the same animation, but new dubs. That actually would be kind of brilliant if it's the exact same animation, but we have to make it the second season. So we're trying to figure out if that's logistically possible. That, to me, that would be even a bigger challenge. It's like, oh wow, now we're going to do the whole thing over again and